You're invited to imagine what's next. What the next view you wake up to will be. Where your next adventures will start from. Your perfect space to entertain. And your sanctuary to unwind in. As you begin to imagine your new place, we'll be here to help you find it. Because nothing compares to what's next. Sotheby'sRealty.com.
Cyclone Michaung, which caused extensive damage in the coastal areas of North Tamil Nadu and southern Andhra Pradesh, is a massive wake-up call for everyone. 24 people lost their lives and the personal economic loss to the state is estimated to be a whopping 11,000 crore plus. Now, Chennai, which received 150 mm of rain in just 24 hours, was the worst hit. Power outages, damages caused to homes and vehicles, roads in several parts are destroyed, and now there's stagnant water, which is a big health risk. On the urban agenda, we ask, how are we going to save our coastal cities from such extreme weather events? Do we understand the importance of having a solid plan to climate-proof our cities? Joining me for the course of action and solutions are Shreya Gadepalli, founder and managing Trustee, Urban Works Institute. Also with us, Arun Krishnamurthy, founder, Environmentalist Foundation of India, and Amarnath Giriraj, principal researcher, disaster risk management and climate resilience at International Water Management Institute. Before we get into the discussion, it's worth looking at some of the facts with respect to Chennai. Now, in October 2023, just a month before the cyclone, the Greater Chennai Corporation, or GCC, said that stormwater drain work has been completed 90% and in all of the city's core areas. Now, between May 2021 to May 2023, 682 kilometers of stormwater drain were added, according again to GCC, which totals now 3,480 kilometers of drain. In fact, the city claims that desilting of stormwater drains is carried out cyclically and twice a year. Maintenance also includes desilting of various canals managed by the Greater Chennai Corporation and restoration of 186 out of 210 water bodies was also completed under various funding sources. Arun, I'm going to come to you first. You are at the site. What is the situation now in Chennai? It seems like the government and municipal corporation are saying that they did clear out all the stormwater drains. Desilting was done. Water bodies were restored. Yet we saw extensive flooding and damages with the cyclone.
The city is changing year on year, which means whatever work that's being done with regards to hydro habitats of the city, that is bearing the brunt of urbanization. As simple as this, pockets in Besant Nagar, Thiruvanmiyur majorly got flooded, not because of they were low-lying, they got flooded because of urban infrastructure in the form of a pedestal speed breaker or even a road divider, which didn't allow water to move from place to place. And this meant that properties that were built 20, 30 years ago went underwater immediately. And it is a matter of fact that marshlands to lakes and ponds and the waterways connecting these different water bodies have been taken up for reclaimed construction. There's no denying that. And how much ever work that is to be done and whatever work is being done is getting negated by the fact that the city is changing and we have climate change in our backyard year on year.
Mr. Giriraj, what's your view on it? Do you agree with Arun that, the city is doing work, but it's just not enough?
From my own perspective, the city with a living population of Chennai metro population of over 12 million population and living in the lowland areas, it's hard to say really a rainfall of over 46 centimeter in 36 hours, you could able to drain very quickly because most of the drainage system are still not upgraded. It is still in the colonial time. And while they are developed, those systems have been put in place, it doesn't come with robust early warning information, how this drainage are scientific. And if you look at developed countries versus our own systems exist, they are not really engineered to the solutions of the local need. What is happening is that we had over 4,000 water bodies, which has over 150 million cubic storage of water capacity has been exist for many ages. Those lakes and rivers, they have shrunk over a period of years.
Shreya, would you agree that, we are always seeming to be behind what the requirement of a city is? It's not that we haven't seen cities work towards recognizing the problems, but, it just never seems enough.
That's right. And I think we're always playing catch up when it comes to how we plan our cities. Development comes first, planning comes later. And that's been a key reason why, we are seeing the kind of results that we see on the ground. And like Arun rightly pointed out, even areas which have been developed much earlier, like 20, 30 years back, recent infrastructure has been such that it doesn't allow for water to flow easily. New infrastructure that has been created has completely removed the ability to absorb water at the edges of the street, and it's fully concrete edge to edge. Further, the infrastructure such as, some of the speed breakers which have been created, they don't allow for water to flow through clearly. And this is even worse when it comes to further southern areas like Pallikaranai or, Velachery, which have been built pretty much in swamps, and watersheds, natural watersheds have been completely ignored. So, we need to really consider how we allow the city to expand in the future. What would be the format of that expansion?
Shreya and Arun, just to reiterate or put it together for our viewers, some of the key reasons identified for Chennai flooding by experts such as you are, rapid urbanization, changes in land use, which Arun has spoken about and Shreya has spoken about, and inadequate drainage system. Over the last 20 years until 2020, now Chennai saw an increase of almost 65% in built-up area and a 52% decrease in forest land and almost a 40% decrease in the agricultural land which surrounds the city. So there has been a huge change in what's happening to the city. Arun, I'm also looking at one of the studies done and which says that only 3% of Chennai under GCC or Greater Chennai Corporation is deemed safe or at low risk. And that's what Shreya also said. Some of the areas like Besanagar, etc. were never getting flooded. Poise Garden, you see a road caving there. So are we also maybe approaching this in a very unilateral fashion? All right, we will just desilt the stormwater drains. There have to be other solutions to this, right? Because urbanization is a given. What else can we be doing?
We don't have a holistic, comprehensive solution for the whole of Chennai. Chennai's floods, the floods that we see in Ennore is not the same as the floods that we see in Mannivakam, which is in the south, or it's not the same flooding that we see in Velachery. Every corner of Chennai is flooding with its own characteristics. In some places, it's urban infrastructure. In some places, it is the wetlands that have been taken over. In some places, it is the upstream problem which is affecting the downstream. And in many other pockets, the surge, what we've seen in Bombay is something what you're seeing in Chennai too. The surge, the ocean doesn't let the water drain into it at certain points. So it's a combination of factors which is leading to Chennai's floods, and it needs localized solutions, keeping the larger Chennai framework in mind. And I think we need to go back to our drawing boards to put this Chennai watershed, Chennai flood mitigation plan in a wholesome. That's what is required.
How can we make this wholesome happen, Shreya? As an urban planner, give us some solution. Do we start at a planning level? Like, if it's a jigsaw puzzle and we're constantly going to be chasing the solution, like Arun said, you fix for one area, you don't realize that you're actually leading to flooding in another area. It seems like an insurmountable problem, Shreya, but we have to have, there are cities which are doing it right? So what should we do, Shreya?
So, one connection that oftentimes is missed is also the transportation planning and urban planning link. Now, more and more cities like Chennai have been car-oriented in terms of their transport planning. We create more and more road surface that's completely paved. And it's not just the public space that's getting completely paved up, which doesn't allow for water to seep through. Even buildings which are required to have open area, all of that is also paved up because we want to have pathways for motor vehicles to park or go through, which means that the amount of space that we are left with, which can absorb water, is very little. We're essentially turning our parks, or what should have been parks, into parking. And this means that we are bound to have such episodes because we essentially are creating no space whatsoever for water to seep through ground. Much like how WBC or white blood cells are required for our immunity, we need walking, bicycles, buses, and cycles as being the future of transportation rather than it being car oriented. Because car oriented essentially is creating just a city of concrete surfaces rather than being sponge cities which are climate responsive.
Mr. Giriraj, we've inherited British, aged drainage systems in our cities. Planning is missing, but there are things which can be done to make the city better. What are your solutions that you propose?
Absolutely, I agree with you, because what British time we would have done it, a drainage system might have holded few lakhs of population. And today, as I said, that we have grown nearly several fold. Chennai city alone is 6.5 million, and we are adding to Chennai metro population, which is 12 million. And the kind of extreme rainfall adding to the lowland, the localization, vast expanding urbanization, the issues in the slum areas particularly, they are covering more than 11 lakh population in Saidapet, Adayar, and many other places. So what happens is that when these drainage systems are done, they are not looked at for the next 50 years. What kind of flood return period we are looking at? The flood that is spoken now for 2023, the rainfall that is recorded is back in 70 to 80 years back. So that time we did not had this kind of problems with climate change. Adding to climate change, what happens is you get a extreme huge volume, both the intensity and the frequency of rainfall. In 36 hours, we got 46 centimeter. It means that the government cannot just look at a limited fund. We need a very bold climate action, handling to hard infrastructure as well as the soft adaptation solutions. And without which, I was just looking at how in 2014, the government of India reviewed the improvement of Ganga river, the pollution, affluent chemicals that is coming from the river, over $4 billion. And we are talking about a city like Chennai, an investment of less than $500 million. Right? So it's like you can compare the scale of investment the state government is investing. And this is a recurrent disaster. Cyclones have increased in cities like coastal part of India, particularly cities like Chennai. And previous case was releasing the water from the lakes. That has happened. More than 100 plus people have died. Here, the casualties are less than 16 people this time. It means that our structural solutions have not improved. We haven't learned much from what we have gone in 2015. So I would think that how government can look at all this water storage, and how do we really, there are solutions in dry land areas or the arid regions. They are storing underground waters. And now, where is the space for that? You can bring the storage system, getting a large pipe structure, but lack of bringing those connectivity. Each storage connectivity has to be connected. If 4,000 plus water bodies are efficiently used, government can really save millions of dollars in providing access to quality drinking water post the flood. And in terms of quantity, in terms of quality, and bringing a wider water security approaches. So what I say is that it should be not looked as an ad hoc one ministry or a department. We need to make a collective actions to that.
All right. When we come back after a break, we're also going to look at disaster management, because this time, literally, the IMD predicted the fall of the cyclone quite accurately. So was the city prepared? Because, climate change events are going to get more frequent. So how are our cities prepared for that disaster management, responsiveness to people and their needs when something like this happens? Stay with us. We'll come back and discuss that.